my name is Freema and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. If you're subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed. It is very exciting for me that my channel has grown to the dizzying heights that YouTube felt the need to throttle my growth. And I woke up about 2 or 3 days ago. I found like 10-20% of my pitifully low number of subscribers had vanished. So if you subscribe, please make sure you're still subscribed. If you're not subscribed, if you could consider hitting the subscribe button, thank you so much. We teeny tiny little micro channels dealing with we're giving you independent voices that are not in the pay of anyone and dealing with niche subjects. Just really need your support in hitting the subscribe button. If you want to hit the like and share button as well, thank you. That is fantastic. I want to show you my appreciation. First way I'm going to show you my appreciation is we give away stuff. I like stuff. You like stuff. We all like stuff. The stuff I'm giving away this week is Doctor Who, the complete the complete third series starring David Tennant, Freema, Agyeman, and Simm comes in as a master. Great season of TV. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel and leave the hashtag VoteSaxon. Vote Saxon, and we do the prize draw on Sundays when on the TARDIS zone. That'll be 9 o'clock UK time, 4 o'clock East Coast, or 1 o'clock on the West Coast. And there's a second prize. Lo and behold, well, there's probably the second prize. I tried to give this away about a month or so ago to a viewer by the name of Nameless Entity. Nameless Entity. If you're out there, please send me your address. I got in contact with him, but he hasn't sent me his address yet. If he doesn't send it to me, then it'll be going to the second name that comes out the hat. So, vote Saxon, and you can win all of the above. If you don't win, then I have another thing for you guys. You can, in the video notes, all the instructions, all the rules, and everything are in the video notes. If you don't win, there's a link to a download of a Doctor Who audio adventure from the mid-80s by a fan group called Audio Visuals that went on to become Big Finish. They do fantastic radio plays. Starring Nicholas Briggs as a Doctor who now does the voice of the Daleks. This end story is a sideman story called Sword of Orion. Download, share, and enjoy, baby. Share and enjoy. Fine! This is not about Doctor Who at all. This is about Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon is probably my favourite certainly my favourite science fiction show on TV right now. But I think it's my favourite show. When I say science fiction show, it's between that, the current science fiction shows. My favourite kind. It's between that and The Expanse. I think I prefer Altered Carbon, I have to think about it. But I think I prefer Altered Carbon. I find it more entertaining. So, what's great about Altered Carbon, it's like the thing people say it's most like is Blade Runner. Imagine a cross between Blade Runner or The Matrix, that sort of feel. But for me, it's much more like a 2000 AD strip. 2000 AD is, of course, the great science fiction anthology comic book, which is like the main comic book that people read in England, that I read in England growing up, and you got like 4 or 5 different stories each week, I should say, and it's like 5 pages long each. So this is exactly the type of story that we would get out. That is a very, very, very science fictiony. It's got this very science fictiony look. It's got. I think it's got somewhat of a both generic and unique look all at the same time. It's got the same feel as like a really good sci-fi game, but it's got a great story that goes with it. It's the basic premise is there's this technology called stacks that fit in the back of your neck, and it records your entire personality and memories. If you get killed, you can take the stack out and put it in a new body. That's essentially the world we live in. So the story focuses on this guy called Takeshi Kovacs. Takeshi Kovacs was an envoy, this like super elite military unit that was part of this massive revolution that wanted to destroy stack technology. Stack technology was invented by this woman called, what's her name? Kelkress Falconer, who was Kovacs' lover. They were the love of each other's life. She was also somehow, I'm really not sure how, the sort of inventor of the stack technology. And she kind of came to the realization that the boundary of death was probably a good thing, for humanity. You take that out, people are probably going to get much worse. That's like if you're super, super rich and your only real boundary would be death. And so if that 1% didn't have that boundary, they would probably become a much more powerful and elite group. So she fought to have the stack technology destroyed and failed titanically. The entire revolution was destroyed. All the envoys were killed. Kovacs is the last one remaining, and he was left on a shelf. Like his stack was left on a shelf for like two 250 years. Eventually, he was found and put into a new stack. A new sleeve. That's what the bodies are called. New super military sleeve to solve a weird sci-fi esque murder, which I won't go into all the details. But because you can interchange stacks into different sleeves, you have the unique ability in this show to change the lead actor. I think the only show that could really do that beforehand is Doctor Who. The the last thing I could think that only Doctor Who and one other thing could do was only Doctor Who and Jimi Hendrix could get away with wearing a velvet jacket and a thrilly dinner shirt. So only Doctor Who and Alden Carmen can really effectively change the lead actor without blinking as part of the it'd be organically part of the show. So the first season you had what's his name? He was played by Joel Kinnaman, and this season he's played by Anthony Mackie. So let's talk about that. That's the biggest change between season 1 and season 2. The lead. And honestly, they're different. They're different people, but doesn't really change anything plus or minus. They're both kind of like the same level actor. I feel. I don't know. I think Anthony Mackie probably has a little bit softer, has more of a range than Kinnaman. But Kinnaman's really, really good at doing that hard as nails military guy. So if you want him to do that, which is what the script called for in that first instance. So if you want that, you get him. And Mackie is, I think. As I said, 2 episodes in. The first 2 episodes are Phantom Lady and Payment Deferred. Doing a fine job. Again, neither a plus or a minus. It was kind of like, and he had up everything pretty much equal. The other thing that I like about the second season, it's only 8 episodes long, which I freaking love because it's designed to be binged. And these are not individual stories, which is why I ended up watching the first 2 episodes. In fact, I think I'm probably going to do 4 reviews in all, like 2 episodes each, which again, it just is a much more manageable lump. And from Netflix's point of view, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. If you're dropping a season of that you expect people to binge over a weekend, they can do it with 8 episodes, they can do it with 6 episodes, they can do it with 13 episodes. And you do it like 10, 13 episodes, you're going to get lots and lots of filler, which is kind of what we've been seeing with this new binge model. I actually am not a fan of the binge model, but this is what they do. So I think they're smart to do it in 8 episodes. I think you get a much tighter, more pointed drama. So this season deals much more with the backstory of Kovacs. So you really have to be much more up to date with what's going on. And while at the same time it moves it forward 30 years. So the backstory is again that Kovacs is love of his life was this woman Kelkus Falconer, and she was killed at the end of the rebellion, or was she? At the end of the first season, which is a big spoiler for the first season, but yeah. By the way, if you want, you can check. I'll leave it in the video notes. My review of the first season. It was said that she was told that she was backed up, and he left to go on a quest to find her. The only 2 elements that carried through from the first season to the second season is the world. The world basically looks exactly the same the universe looks exactly the same as it did in the first season. It's 30 years later, but nothing really has changed that's visible to my eye. They do bring in some interesting new things in it. And the other thing is the character Poe. Now, Poe, fantastic character. When Kovacs first taken off ice and put into his new sleeve, he ends up going to this hotel run by an AI, which people say don't do because these AIs become like obsessed with you, and you can't get rid of them. Which I think Kovacs kind of likes. So at the end of that season, again, this is a spoiler for that season, he is apparently destroyed. It's really kind of heartbreaking he's destroyed because you really build up. He builds up the character very, very well, and he's it's a great double act between Kovacs and Poe. So this season starts off, and he's back again. You don't really know how he's back. Although I think as the episodes unfold, you see how he's not doing well. He's got his memories failing. And basically he needs to be rebooted, but he doesn't want to be rebooted because if he does, he doesn't know if his memories of his time with Kovacs and a bunch of his personality will come out, or if he's going to be restored to factory settings. So he's very reticent to do that. Kovacs doesn't really seem to care though, from what I know. He just says, "Look, you need to reboot." But again, there's much more of a double act this year because he was confined to their base of operations, which was the Raven Hotel. But now he goes around with Kovacs. Kovacs has a remote hologram emitter, which is how he gets around. So so basically since last year he's been on a quest to find Falconer, found Kel, and when this season starts, it starts off really clever with the first line is "This is a ghost story," which I really like because the idea of there being stacked technology. Maybe this is a ghost story. Maybe just having your memories and personality recorded isn't really you, which is one of the things that really gets into what this series is. Like, what is self? What are you if you're not your body? If your body and you are disconnected, if your body is completely mutable, what is you? And so you have this idea that maybe you're not you, maybe you're just a copy of you, and you died. Maybe there is a soul, which is that was a whole subplot from the first season, that people who didn't want stack technology because they figured that these things that if they were killed and they were put in a new body, that then they're dead anyway. It's not you. It's they're living in a world full of ghosts. So this is what I think I was saying. Well, this is a ghost story, and then you have the music for that for the first scene is a lounge singer crooning "Under My Skin," which again talking about what is self. If your body is not you, what is you? Which again, a great idea, great science fiction idea, a smart science fiction idea, which is something you just don't see so much anymore. With the Expanse, you get a lot of very smart science fiction ideas, but I find this one to be more entertaining. You put this into this really kinetic, fantastic action, and there is fantastic action throughout. Again, this is just the first episode, but there is fantastic action. So Kovacs finds himself in this new super military sleeve played by Anthony Mackie. This military sleeve has some canine DNA in it, and he can do all these cool new things. Do a Matrix backflips, and he can have guns leap straight into his hands. Which again, for me, just is a great addition and feels kind of very what's the word? Very organic to the world they set up in the first season, which again, it's really the reason I'm going back to it is because I like the first season. I'm glad they didn't say, "Well, let's change everything." They haven't not changed. They're staying true to the premise while adding interesting new stuff onto it. Another interesting new thing that they're adding onto it is there's this idea of real death being brought in. So the people who were super rich, they're called Meths, which is short for Methuselah. Methuselah was in the Bible the oldest living person. So they're called Meths, and so these people live with massive stores of backup clones of them, and they back up their stacks every day, so they effectively can't be killed, or can they? That's the new element they're bringing in to this season, where there's this new technology that doesn't just destroy them, but also destroys all their backups. So they haven't really dealt with that so much yet. So this takes place on, was it Hayden's World? I think it's called Hayden's World, which is apparently where he started his quest to find Quell for, again, 30 years earlier. Which was a little bit confusing because they keep saying, "Oh, we're back here again." And after I was trying to think, well, were they there in the first season? And no, they weren't. So yeah, after thinking about it, no, this is where the quest started immediately after this first season. So they're all the way back there again. He's drawn into it because he's given this incredible lead to find Kelkas, which is really one of the thrusts of the season so far. I'm trying to keep the spoiler free so you guys can enjoy it. When I do the next review of episodes 3 and 4, we're going to talk about spoilers for episodes 1 and 2 in that one. Another thing they build in, there's a really great bit of world building where there's been this revolution going on for, it seems to be decades, maybe longer, on this world. And there's just been some kind of armistice and peace been sorted out between the rebels who don't want stack technology. They come from a religion that was formed from the Kovacs original rebellion with the envoys, with the Falconer, and the main people who live on the planet. And so there's some piece going on there, which is the Protectorate really don't like it. The Protectorate are realized by this fantastic new character, Colonel Carrera, who has one of these like super military bodies, just like Anthony Mackies, and he has a whole team of people with it. Again, it just opens the door for fantastic action sequences and very enjoyable. So yeah, this is a recommend. This is a strong recommend. I think it's a great show. I really think we should support it as a fandom, because it's smart science fiction, treating the audience with intelligence and not trying to like preach to us, which is, oh my god, I can't believe that's the bar right now for something. But that is the bar, and so I'm trying to work out, would I be liking this if it wasn't like 2020? And I think I would. I think this is a objectively classic series. Yes, my strong recommendation. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it too. Watch it. Let me know what you think in the show notes. Don't spoil me though, because again, I haven't seen episode 3 yet. So let me know if you agree, if you disagree, if anything in it that I'm missing that you think I should pay attention to, and just let me know what you think. Have yourself a fantastic day. Thank you so much for listening.